Imagine somebody throwing fire darts or shooting arrows into a crowd without any consideration whatever for any result that might come from that. Do you know anybody like that? You just might. Let's turn to Proverbs chapter 26.
You don't have to have a degree in religion to understand the Bible. God is not the author of confusion. He gave the Bible to reveal where you came from, why you are here, and where you are going. The Bible is instruction for life, and it applies to the situations we humans face every day. Yes, there are difficult passages that require some deeper study, but you can understand the basics the first time you read, and most of it is basic. These short commentaries by Al illustrate the practical nature of the Word of God. Here's A.L.Parr with another short commentary.
Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 18 says, "As a madman who casts firebrands, arrows, and death." Wow. Can you imagine anybody? The word mad there doesn't mean insane. It means irresponsible. It means someone just haphazardly and wildly, without any consideration, throwing burning objects or shooting arrows. That's a dangerous thing to do. It's a foolish thing to do, isn't it? But we stopped in the middle of a sentence. As a madman who casts firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceives his neighbor and says, "Am I not in sport?" You know anybody that, well, we'd call him today, I suppose, a practical joker? Teasing somebody to say, believe that this is so-and-so, and then when the person finds out he's been had, people just sit back and laugh. "Oh, that was so funny. Ha, 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 we got you. You look so foolish." And we're laughing at somebody else's embarrassment, somebody else's shame. It's a shame to us. God says it's like that madman who shoots arrows indiscriminately or throws firebrands in or at other people. There's another verse in the Proverbs in chapter 17. Verse number 5 says, "Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his Maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished." When we laugh or mock at somebody who is underprivileged or somebody who is suffering some kind of calamity, we're mocking God. And the Scripture says, you won't be unpunished for that. It's such a common characteristic of our society that we really don't think much about it, except unless we're the person who's the object of all the fun and games, the sport, the ridicule, the mocking. But when we're doing things like that, God's not pleased. God says you're like a madman. God says you won't be unpunished. God says you're mocking God. Christians should not be doing things like that at all. People who love God should not be so disrespectful of others. Very few people who like to play those kinds of practical jokes would like to be on the other end of such jokes. In fact, you probably know people, as I do, who are good at making those kinds of situations, mocking somebody else, and then becoming very angry and abusive if it happens to them. They can dish it out, they can't take it back. That's a greater sin than even where they started. Turn to the book of Matthew in chapter number 27. We're talking about mocking the Lord. Matthew chapter 27, verse number 29, the soldiers manhandling Jesus after his illegal trial, says, "When they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and a reed in his hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, 'Hail, King of the Jews!'" Can you imagine the blasphemy of behaving like that before the Son of Almighty God? But that's the same situation that we find ourselves in if we're turning those practical jokes, so-called, not so practical after all, are they? And not so funny, turning those on other people. It's a shame. It's foolishness. It's madness. It's mocking God. Don't do that. If you're doing things like that, please repent. If you know people who are doing things like that, reason with them concerning God's will in the matter. Be a faithful servant of God. Have the Spirit of Jesus toward all other people, and God will surely bless you.
Please commit some time today to read your Bible. See for yourself how practical it is. And contact the Church of Christ in your community. Or to find the nearest local church, visit www.churchofchrist.org. There are dashes between those words, Church of Christ. These short commentaries by Al are presented by Confirming the Churches. Find us on the web at www.acts1541.org.